Lucifer. For many, the name itself brings to mind evil and corruption, the most infamous fallen angel in Christian tradition. But did you know that the name Lucifer originally means lightbringer or morning star? How did this angel, once the most favored by the Creator, transform from a glorious son of heaven into a monarch of darkness? Even more shocking is the idea that in our modern world, many of us have become the devil's most loyal followers without even realizing it. When you lose yourself in material possessions, when you use deceit to satisfy your vanity, when you harm others for your own selfish gain, could it be that the shadow of the fallen angel is behind these actions? The Bible tells us that Lucifer fell because of pride. Today, emotions like pride, greed, and jealousy seem to dominate modern life. Our society glorifies the self, chases after limitless freedom, and places desire above morality. All of this looks strikingly similar to Lucifer's own path to damnation. So, what is it that connects us so closely to this fallen angel? Who is the real Lucifer of the Bible? And how is he quietly influencing our daily lives? Long ago, before the world was ever created, the celestial realm already existed. And there, before the throne of heaven, countless angels served the Creator. Among them was an angel named Lucifer. He was one of the most beautiful and intelligent angels in all of heaven, and he was given an incredibly high position. The book of Ezekiel describes Lucifer like this: "You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of fiery stones. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created, till iniquity was found in you." This passage tells us that Lucifer was once a perfect being in heaven, personally placed in a sacred position by the Creator himself. As the morning star, Lucifer's brilliance was dazzling, and he was admired by all the other angels. He had 6 pairs of wings, was robed in golden light, possessed unmatched beauty, and had extraordinary wisdom. His duty in heaven was to lead the angelic choir in singing hymns of praise, and his voice could make the entire kingdom of heaven tremble. The Creator had high hopes for him, granting him immense authority and free will. One day, the Creator gathered all the angels and announced a momentous decision. "I will create humanity in our image, and I will let them rule over everything on earth." When Lucifer heard this, something inside him began to change. He thought to himself, "Why create such inferior beings? They are so much weaker than us, yet they get to have such an honor." The seeds of pride began to take root and sprout in Lucifer's heart. As time went on, Lucifer's dissatisfaction grew stronger and stronger. He started to secretly spread his ideas throughout heaven. "Why should we submit to the Creator's will?" he'd say. "We have wisdom and power. Shouldn't we be our own masters?" His words resonated with a third of the angels, who began to agree with him. An angel named Michael noticed that something was off with Lucifer and went to warn him. "Lucifer, your ideas are dangerous. The Creator made us and gave us everything. We should be grateful, not question his wisdom." Lucifer shot back with contempt. "Michael, you're just a blind follower. Don't you think we're just as qualified to be on the same level as the Creator? Our wisdom and abilities are no less than his." Michael replied sternly, "Lucifer, you've been blinded by your own pride. The Creator's wisdom is infinite, but our understanding is limited. You need to be careful with your thoughts, or you'll make a mistake you can never take back." But Lucifer was beyond listening. His ambition and pride swelled until, finally, he decided to launch a rebellion. He gathered his followers and prepared to challenge the Creator's authority. The book of Revelation records, "And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. An unprecedented war erupted in heaven. Lucifer and his followers clashed with Michael and the loyal angels in a fierce battle. Blinding light flashed across the sky, and thunder roared as if the entire kingdom of heaven was shaking. In the end, Michael and his angelic army defeated Lucifer's rebels. Lucifer was stripped of his angelic status and glory, and he was cast from heaven down into the abyss. His magnificent appearance twisted into something monstrous and terrifying. His 6 beautiful wings turned into horrifying, leathery appendages. The Son of Light had become the King of Darkness. Lucifer's fall wasn't just a physical descent, it was a spiritual collapse. He went from being the most beloved angel to the despised Satan, from the light bringer to the Lord of Darkness. And the angels who followed him were punished in the same way, becoming known as fallen angels or demons. After falling to earth, Lucifer, now known as Satan or the devil, was filled with resentment and fury. He could never return to heaven, so he turned his attention to humanity. If he couldn't defeat the Creator, he would destroy what the Creator cherished most. The book of Genesis tells us that in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve lived in perfect harmony with the Creator. They could eat the fruit from any tree in the garden except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Lucifer saw his chance and, disguised as a serpent, he went to tempt Eve. The serpent said to Eve, "You will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." This line cleverly sparked Eve's curiosity and pride, just as it had happened with Lucifer himself. Eve was convinced. She not only ate the fruit herself but also gave some to Adam. And just like that, humanity committed its first sin. They were cast out of the Garden of Eden and began a life of suffering on earth. Meanwhile, Lucifer began his long journey of revenge, constantly tempting humanity to fall and stray from the Creator's path. It's worth thinking about how Lucifer's fall and humanity's original sin are strikingly similar. Both stemmed from pride and dissatisfaction, from a desire to cross the boundaries they were given. Lucifer wanted to be equal with the Creator, and humanity wanted to be like God, knowing good and evil. Over time, Lucifer's image has evolved in different cultures and religious traditions. In medieval Christian art, he was often depicted as a terrifying monster with horns and a tail. But in modern literature and pop culture, he's often portrayed as a charming, rebellious, and complex character. However, no matter how his image changes, Lucifer's essence has always been about pride, rebellion, and temptation. He uses human weaknesses, the 7 deadly sins like greed, envy, anger, and pride, to constantly lure people away from the right path. Lucifer's greatest weapon isn't violence, it's lies and half-truths. He is a master at twisting the truth, packaging evil to look good, and painting corruption as freedom. He doesn't force people to do bad things. Instead, he skillfully guides them into making the wrong choices on their own. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why the darker side of human nature seems to be more and more on display in our bustling society? We chase after fame and fortune, losing ourselves in material pleasures. We're driven by vanity, willing to pay any price to look good on the surface. We settle for instant gratification, ignoring the deep emptiness in our souls. Behind these seemingly personal choices, could there be an invisible hand guiding us? When you're willing to hurt others for your own gain, when you know something is wrong but you defend it anyway, in those moments, do you ever feel a voice deep inside pushing you? What is this mysterious but powerful connection between the modern human spirit and that fallen angel? And why is our relationship with the devil sometimes described as being his most loyal followers? The Bible tells us that after Lucifer fell, he became Satan, a hunter of human souls. The book of Job describes Satan roaming the earth, looking for prey to devour. Satan isn't just some simple evil being, he's a strategist, a deceiver. 1 Peter warns us, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." This passage reveals how Satan operates. He actively seeks out our weaknesses and then uses them to tempt us into falling from grace. The scariest thing about Lucifer isn't that he openly opposes goodness, but that he can disguise evil as good and masquerade as an agent of light. As it says in 2 Corinthians, Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. This reminds us that the most dangerous temptations often aren't obvious evils, but rather evils that wear the cloak of goodness. The story of Jesus being tempted by the devil in the Gospel of Matthew is especially thought-provoking. Satan tempted Jesus in 3 ways. First, with material temptation, turning stones into bread, then, with the temptation of vanity jumping from the temple roof without getting hurt, and finally, with the temptation of power to rule over all the kingdoms of the world. These three temptations represent Satan's three main weapons: materialism, vanity, and the lust for power. Aren't these temptations everywhere in our modern lives? In today's society, consumerism is rampant, and many people value material comfort over spiritual fulfillment. On social media, people compete to show off their best side, desperate for likes and admiration from others. In the workplace and in social circles, the chase for power and status often causes people to lose themselves. From a psychological perspective, Lucifer can also be seen as a symbol of the dark side of our own hearts, representing our selfish, proud, and greedy tendencies. When we fail to acknowledge and integrate these shadow aspects of ourselves, we can, without realizing it, become followers of the devil. The Bible says Lucifer promised humanity, "If you eat the forbidden fruit, you will be like God, knowing good and evil." In modern society, we face a similar temptation: the desire for unlimited freedom, the craving for power without responsibility, and the search for knowledge without effort. We're told we can consume without end and ignore the consequences for the environment, that we can get lost in virtual worlds while neglecting real relationships, and that we can chase instant gratification while ignoring long-term happiness. As we face the many temptations of life, we need to cultivate discernment, build a healthy spiritual life, and stay humble. Lucifer's fall began with pride, and when humans are tempted, it's often because pride makes us overestimate our own abilities and judgment. The so-called followers of the devil aren't people who openly declare their allegiance to Satan. They are the ones who, in their daily lives, have unknowingly adopted Lucifer's values: people who put themselves above everything else, who value instant gratification over eternal principles, and who prioritize external success over inner peace. The story of Lucifer teaches us that even the brightest and most beautiful angel in heaven can fall because of pride. This should serve as a warning for us to be ever vigilant of our own hearts.